everybody. Welcome back to Champions of the Fog. I am your host today, littlerugaard, without the camera once again. Funny story on that later. And I am joined by co-host TravistyOnDemand. How you doing, Travesty?
I'm doing pretty good, Rue. How are you doing today?
Uh, as I said, we'll get to that later. I was so set on having my camera set for this, and I realized all too late that I accidentally did a novice issue or a novice troubleshooting job, and it turns out my capture cards are fine. It is in fact my camera that's bunked. One's on the way. It'll be here tomorrow, but unfortunately, you don't get to see my face today. But that's okay. We're here for it today. In other news, we've got a fantastic match. How did we get here? Going against Sample Text. I don't think I've seen How Did We Get Here play yet. I've heard of them. I know some of the people on the team, but I genuinely have not seen them play before. Have you seen them play?
Yeah, I've seen them play before. They were a part of season 0 of Champions of the Fog.
Okay.
They are a relatively newer team when it comes to competitive play, but every game that they're playing, they are getting so much better in looping. They're getting better with mind games for the killers. They are one of those teams that is progressing each and every game that they play.
Interesting. Okay, I'm here for it. I mean, we've seen plenty of teams that started out novices. I think OOD is one that they started out and they were just they were nobody, and now they're actually doing really well a lot of the time. So
Yeah, yeah, very similar stories, and This is one of those matches that is really interesting as far as standings is concerned, right? Because as of today, we have Cookies, who is undefeated. We know that they're going to be going through
okay,
to the next round because there's no one that can beat them. I,
really,
yeah, it turns out when you don't lose a game, it is impossible for anyone to take your spot.
yeah, that's fair.
And then we have Atrocity and Regicide, both with a 6 wins and 2 losses.
Okay,
Which I'm not going to make the official announcement because that's not my place. But I speculate that's going to be good enough to get the second and third for the Saturday division.
mm.
It starts to get spicy for that fourth slot,
The wild card slot.
the wild card slot.
Okay, let's go.
So right now we have Monarchy, who is going to be taking the win today, and that will put him at a 5-3 record.
Okay,
Right now, we have Sample Text that is at a 4-3 record.
so they need this game to even be in contention.
So it gets complicated. If they win today, that will put them at 5-3, and I believe next week Monarchy and Sample Text go head to head. Both of them at a 5-3 record, and
Oh
surely whoever
wow.
wins there will take the fourth slot.
So Sampletex has to win this game today, and then has to put up a fight against them next week. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But this is where the interesting part comes in. If Sample Text loses today, that puts them at a 4-4. Cerebral Assassins is a 4-4 record. If next week Sample Text beats Monarchy, Cerebral Assassins wins their match next week. We will have 3 teams at a 5-3 record fighting for that final spot.
So mini playoff time?
You know what? I don't know. I think we'll have to wait from the commissioner to tell us what happens during this case. But there's a lot of things that can happen, and I'm here for it. It's crunch time. Let's go.
Yeah, that's actually pretty crazy. So we've got some pretty dicey matches coming down the line that are going to be deciding factors. Interesting. Interesting.
Now I'm going to flip the script on the other spectrum.
Oh.
How did we get here? Has not won a match this season.
Oof.
I, as someone who did not win a single game last season, I want them to get a win. I would love for them to at least come out of this season with 1 win to their name.
Mm-hmm.
So on their side, they're fighting for pride.
Yeah,
And so I'm hoping that we can see some really good games coming from How Did We Get Here Today?
understandable. I agree. Like I love a good underdog match. Do they have access to any S tiers by chance?
They have access. And I was looking earlier at the killer tracker. They have not lost any of their killers. So they have every S tier possible at their disposal.
Okay, maybe we'll see some use of that. I don't think Sample Text has all S tiers left, right? They used up
Uh,
Blight last week.
so this is what they have that they lost. I know that they lost Plague, they lost
Hmm.
Deathslinger, and they lost Nemesis, and that's it.
Oh, really? I thought they used up their last Blight, so they still have Blight to use then, huh?
I believe so. I'll double check just to be sure.
Referee, are we ready to go? I'm seeing you come up.
We are ready to go. Yes,
All
sorry.
right, no problem, no problem. We will cut over here just real quick. We have Chef killing for sample types. We have Hammy Star. Okay, Hammy Star. There we go. Hammy Star, Geeky Giraffe, Omega Lol, and Lesbian Love for our survivors. And it looks like we're ready to go. So I'm gonna switch over to here, and we will get going. In the meantime, Travesty, what you laughing at?
Okay, so it's Omega Lol. I love their name. When I was doing scrims with them and I saw their name, I just busted out laughing because I can imagine yelling out loud, "Omega Lol!"
Nerd.
Yeah, no, I'll take that one for sure. And
Oh.
I did look. They've only used Blight once.
Okay, so they got everything on the table too. So should well, to be fair, sample text gets to set the tone here.
They do.
So, and honestly, based on the previous match that we saw last time, I think they're just gun swinging every single match from here on out because they've got the access to it. So it might not
I
matter that they have S tier. Sample text may have the S tier to combat them back.
Yeah, I think so, and especially because you know that this week and next week is going to be very important games,
Mm-hmm.
and with this week being Azeroth's resting place, they've got some really good selections that they can use to lock down the 3 gens.
Yeah, that's a very fair point. Very fair point. We'll have to see what they end up using here. So having everything on the table, knowing what's at stake, I wouldn't be surprised if Chef just brought Spirit. Like just start out strong. Just
I I mean, I've seen Spirit played on this match or on this map before, and Spirit is really strong. I don't think have we seen Spirit since the changes, since the nerfs that it's had.
I want to say yes. Like in all honesty, Spirit is not significantly worse than when she was before. She got like she was given a little bit of minute nuance counterplay, but even then it's not just completely detrimental and, off-cutting. I think she's still very viable.
I can agree with that, but I think that if I have
We're in. And it's a demo.
a demo gore, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand. You can set your portals on either side, and you can go ahead and really lock down your 3 gens with those portals teleporting from one location to another. I can see that.
Yeah, it's not a horrible idea. And what's our corrupt all on one side of the map, and it looks like okay, this 4th gen that would be in the center here is a little bit towards his side. So he's actually got he's got a 4th gen on the corrupt side.
It's even worse because one of the it looks like
done.
there was a glowing totem on the corrupt side.
I believe you're right, and we did hear a gen just finish just now, and okay. So look at the 3 gen that he has back here, though. It's super off. Like, it's not catty corner. They're kind of two centrist gens. It's not.
It's kind of a loose regen, especially because you're having to go quite a distance to go check on that gen on the back of main. It's not the most ideal as far as patrolling, But he has a hook back here, and he's got
Yeah.
a totem back here.
And there's
So
corrupt zone, and he's like, these guys have to make a save here.
they do.
And they still have corrupt up and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what's. Oh, okay. Go for the shred right there and take the hook trade.
Yeah, especially because when you're doing that shred, you're getting a reduction in that cooldown because that's one of the add-ons I believe that they're using.
Yeah, the Barb's glasses, I believe it is.
Yeah.
So close.
Ooh. Oh, that was so. That if only their fingernails were a little bit longer.
Ooh, the jumper for the distance too. Wow.
That was very nice. That's gonna buy that bought them an extra 5 seconds.
Potentially, yeah. And we noticed that Geeky did get picked up. However, no decisive strike from Lesbian Love here, and that's going to be a second hook state.
And even worse, it's in the basement.
True. Corrupt is down now. Don't know what our survivors are doing here just at the moment. I think I heard a gen being worked on in the back. You might need to go check that.
Yeah, I think we saw earlier that there were sparks flying on that generator by the hill. So I imagine with the basement hook, Chef just may say, "Screw the other side." This may be the spot where I hang out at.
And Steve taking a hit there. Okay, so Nia coming over from the edge where they had healed, having a med kit, seems like. Totem going down the distance, and she is not committing to the basement play here.
No, she's.
No bounce.
Oh!
I do believe that was haunted ground that just got popped.
Oh no! Oh, that is.
Oh no. I think Lesbian's gonna progress to third hook here, and he's got 2 slugs. This might be lights out at 4 gens.
It's unfortunate timing, really. That is super unfortunate. And yeah, we do see Lesbian Love is officially dead. They progressed to death.
Indeed, and this is gonna be first hook here for Hammy. And I imagine they're gonna go upstairs and call Geeky on the rise. I believe Haunted Ground is still in play, so making a save here could just be like lights out officially. I imagine, like, what do you do here? Do you just like gens before friends? Yeah, I think Geeky's killing themselves on hook there, trying to.
Yeah. Okay. Honestly, in my opinion, what you do is, first of all, you got to wait out the haunted. If you're going to go in for a save later, you cannot have that exposed status effect, especially now with 2 people in the basement. If you're this team and you're trying to get as much points as possible, you're doing gens on the opposite side.
Yep.
This next gen will give you 3 points, and hopefully the hatch will spawn on the Killer Shack side to give you maybe another 3 points, but you have to guarantee points somewhere if you want to get a win somewhere.
That was a last-second deliverance from Geeky. Oh my
God!
Oh!
Okay, not only that, but that's also a second wind.
True. That was a really well done play on Chef Mitchell's part. Going, acting like they jumped in a portal, activating the deliverance play. And
Oh! Yeah. Oh. And you know what? Chef had some really good patience when it came to waiting out the borrowed time. You know, because at that point he needed to take 1 hit in 20 seconds. Otherwise, Steve was going to gain that health state. So he had an 8-second window where he could get a hit, and the second wind would get no value.
Right. Yeah, that was well orchestrated. Like Survivors, that was a really, really good play, waiting out and hoping the demo left. Unfortunately, they didn't realize that he literally just teleported a couple feet away.
Which is a really good mind game on Chef's part.
That's a really good mind game. And I mean, to be fair, it makes sense. Geeky did go out of their way to hook trade with Lesbian Love right at the beginning. So that really, like, you know, telltaled and broadcast that, hey, I have deliverance. So that might have been like the ultimate mind game right there, potentially.
You know what we didn't realize? We didn't realize the fact that 2 gens got done during that time.
True. This guy over here has just been, you know, eating up the gens on one side of the map, which makes sense. I think that is the correct play. Just get as many points where you can.
Because that's the difference of 7 points. If they just decided not to do the gens and go get the unhooks, that's 7 points that they would not have been able to get. And And there goes the mech.
And it looks like Chef is going to bring home a delicious demo 4K for Sample Text to start off the game. Not even having to bring an S tier here. And rather dominant performance. Well played.
Yeah, the Chef did a really good job from the very beginning, hooking in one of his 3 gens, and things just started to steamroll for him, and he was able to get the 4K with 2 gens remaining.
True. Very strong play from Demo. I love that mind game at the basement. That was so... I gotta know if that was calculated. I have to know if that was calculated.
I bet it was calculated. Sample Text is a very good team, and it seems like everything that they do is intentional. I think this was 100% intentional.
That was pretty sweet. I gotta give props where props is due. That was a really cool mind game. I don't think I've seen that before. I like it. I like it. Now I was like, I've seen it before where they hook a survivor and then they teleport only a couple feet away. They come back to make it, if they're on comms like, hey, you just teleported, come get me. I've never seen it used to that degree though.
Yeah, no, I can understand. It is really good, and I think we have an update coming. Is that right?
We do. So our score after that one was Sample Text with 43. They had quite a few hooks, but they also had a lot of progressions especially from that last one. And how did we get here? Did 3 gens. They ended up with 9 points.
Yep.
All right, so still a very solid lead despite all the progressions.
Yeah, it was only like 5 progressions, I think it was, because the maximum that you can get as killer is 48.
Right.
So 5 progressions, but still, you have a 34 point lead going into game 2.
Mm-hmm. That's a staunch lead.
Gil's
got their work cut out for them on the other side.
Yeah, they do. How do we get here? Now has to put the foot on the pedal. You got to bring out your good stuff. If you're looking to get one win, and this is the game that you wanted to be on, you got to bring out your S tier.
Yep, ASAP. Bring out the nurse. Bring out the spirit. Bring out the blight. Let the blood flow freely.
Which actually raises a really good question. Do you bring Nurse out on this map, or do you bring it out on Gas Haven, which you know is going to be the next map that you play on?
That's such a good question. The massive walls on that map, yeah, you might be better off leaving Nurse for Gas Haven. Just via the nature of that map.
It's a really good map for Nurse, and so maybe they reserve the Nurse. Maybe they reserve it, and they bring that out for game 3. Maybe this game they bring out the spirit.
That would make sense. I would have to abide by that logic. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. This map can be held down pretty well with the spirit, or honestly, even Blight wouldn't be too bad. I think I would agree. Spirit might be the better option there. I don't know with the collision on Auto Haven, on just the map tiles in general. Blight just struggle buses, like no pun intended, because every single vehicle, every single vehicle is a nightmare.
No, yeah, I can see that. I can see Spirit. We could possibly see Bubba if you use him for mobility, getting those one-shot downs, and he can lock down those 3 gens really well with his chainsaws.
That's a good point too. A basement Bubba could work here, do the exact same thing that Sample Text just did, and force them just to eat the saw.
Exactly. It's just pulling out a play out of Guildspire's book. Mm-hmm. Just hook one person and then just stare at him and give him some nodders, and then just stand right next to him with chainsaw proud.
True. Well, I mean, if you get a basement hook and you've got, you've definitely got a 3-gen in that area, depending on, what's your gen regression. I'm again assuming that you take Ruin, Undying, or some combination of those perks. If your totems are on that side of the map, they can't go for the save, and you can constantly harass them off the gens.
Yeah, the RNG is going to be really important depending on who they play in the and the hexes if they choose to bring those into the trial.
True.
Bec-
Depending on corrupt spawn, if you spawn center of the map or you don't spawn on one side, is your corrupt on the same side as your basement? A lot of
Mhm.
RNG factors. That is one thing that I've been wanting to see. I would love to see if this could happen at some point. Um, what's it called? Seeds. You know how like RNG Minecraft seeds and everything like that. I would love to see seed generation for maps so we could actually start going through like, okay, what seeds generate, the most balanced generator situations, map structure tiling, and start having like preferred tiling sets, if that makes sense.
I'm actually not familiar with the analogy with the Minecraft seeds.
Because okay, so there are popular seeds in Minecraft because the world will generate the exact same world every time you input a seed.
Hmm.
Being a popular one's like, oh, if you use this seed, like 200 units away, there's a really nice ocean with a mushroom by like really cool stuff that are natural spawns in the game based on a certain seed generation. And
Okay.
using the same concept, because that's the way they generate their maps in game, is they use a random number generator for the seed, and then the map generates based off that seed. That's why you never get like the same map twice,
Okay.
which is like
Okay.
that's a good thing in this game. Like not having the same map twice definitely lends itself to being less repetitive. Probably one of the better aspects for like pub play, but for competitive play, you get like suffocation pit with 5 generators on one side of the map, and like 3 of them are in dead zones with no pallets on one side. It's just like, what is this garbage?
I mean, great for the killer,
Oh yeah, sure,
terrible for the survivors.
sure, exactly. Like there are optimal spawns for both sides of the equation, and there has to be like some kind of balance. But because we don't have access to like making that random number generator you know uh I guess hard coded, or having a hard coded value for the seed,
Hmm.
we can't guarantee certain spawns. It would just be nice, is all.
It'd be very interesting for sure. I'd be interested in like if they were to implement that, trying that out and seeing how that would actually affect the games.
Hmm. I agree. Especially if like because this would be the part that I would want the most. Not like people know beforehand what seed they're going to get, but having like the tournament organizer or the host already have a predetermined series of seeds that are already deterministically balanced. Like generator spread is really optimal for both sides. It's not too leaning the other way. Um,
Hmm.
Pallets are spread out evenly. They're not like clustered on one side. Like just like true, like really well balanced maps. But instead of like having like two you go to, you have like 20 that are predetermined and vetted as really good seeds.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's still not the exact same experience every single time, but it's more balanced because a lot there's and I hate to like take away from the skill of players because there's like I'm not dismissing skill among players in comp. There are some very just grotesquely overpowered killers and survivors in this game that are just like they are the bee's knees, for lack of a better term.
Hmm.
But sometimes you can't deal with the RNG this game throws at you. Like going to Dead Dog and it's like, oh cool, I've got a 4 gen on a dead zone. Sucks to be survivors. You could be the best survivor squad in the world, and they're just sitting there like, man, well, I this sucks.
It's like, well, GG's.
Yeah, and like to be fair, a lot of the times the killers and survivors will identify the lopsidedness of a map, and that adds to a skill level in and of itself. But I don't know. I guess this is just dreaming, fantasizing. I know that's never going to come. Like we're going down a rabbit hole that the devs are never gonna like. They don't even really acknowledge comp as a thing anyway. Let alone let alone like these
No, yeah, yeah.
nuances that we want.
No, yeah, I think once we continue to see more comp play, more money being pulled into it, seeing the success that it is having, maybe they will consider it to be this game to be comp viable. But right now, we're at the beginning stages, and we all gotta do something so that we can show the devs that like, hey, competitive Dead by Daylight is here. It is here to stay. Please help make this something viable, something that we can do.
Well, they've touted for a while that there is actually a tournament mode in the code. They've just never turned it on for some reason.
You know, give me the red switch, Rue. I'll do it. I'll press that button. I'll press it right now. I'll do it.
And then Pig can't move anymore or something.
Which is that really the worst thing in the world? If Amanda can't move, come on, let's think. Let's talk about it.
That's fair. I mean, you don't really need to move. You just let your traps crawl along the floor and find a survivor and latch onto their ankles like a bear trap.
Exactly. Just equip VHS. Have them start with them on. Let them do all the gens, and you just sit back with your popcorn and watch the heads explode.
Are we ready to go?
I hate to interrupt. Yeah, we are ready to go on both sides.
All right, thank you very much. We will jump over here then. And we have Guildspire, Dragon's Wrath, Dark, and Vice for our Survivor team. Hammy Star on Killer. And we'll be jumping into this match very shortly.
All right, so my final prediction is Spirit.
Yeah, I would lean into agreement on that. I think that's a strong pick for the map choice. You've definitely got to make these survivors sweat and pay for what they did this previous round. So you got to the comeback has to start now. If you do not have a comeback this match, your chances of actually coming back into the game at all just dwindles so hard. Making the comeback start on the third game is like I don't know if I've seen a comeback start on the third game.
I think it's highly unlikely, but it's not impossible. It's not.
True.
It's not impossible. These are teams that have been doing this for a little bit or are getting so much more experience that it is possible. But you don't want to have to rely on it being the last two games.
Right, and I guess what I mean by that is, so if you say the second game doesn't go so well for you, so the fourth game you just got to you got to go out and just completely decapitate your opponents. Come in 4K, almost no gens done. It still doesn't grant you anything because the returning team is like, okay, well, we just have this. They essentially can calculate from the fourth game what is the bare minimum we have to do to make sure that they cannot win, and then their objective instead of becoming like, oh, let's win the game, do the absolute bare minimum to make sure that our opponent can't win. Yeah. And the fact that you can calculate that in the fourth game is just brutal.
It is. I mean, we've seen that in a few games where we know that like all they need to do is just get a 1K.
Sample text and OOD is the perfect example. You pointed out with Guildspire and Bubba. That's all they had to do, and they knew it.
And that's what they did. That's what happened. He took the hook. He stood there with his chainsaw and then waited for OOD to make the mistakes.
Well, I believe. How did we get here? Has heard the rumor, and we see a plague.
Okay.
A little bit of vomit trouble there, trying to swallow. Do I get it? Oh, okay. Pound 2. All right, they are puking up this side of the map.
All of it.
Yeah,
get it all sick.
Literally all of it. Okay, not a horrible forward gen on this side. That's not that center gen is not quite in the center. It's a little bit to the side. They're going around and infecting literally everything. We see the thumb. I forget, what does the thumb do? I'm not an expert on plague add-ons. What does this toe do?
I think it has something to do with increasing the effectiveness of when they interact with the environment. I think that's what it does.
Interesting. I don't know why you'd infect that. That's not going to come off cooldown before.
Yeah. I think you just leave those corrupt gens. You just leave those alone, and then you go back, because that team is going to do one of two things. They're either going around the side so that they can work on those gens, or they're waiting out corrupt.
I can tell you exactly what they're doing, knowing sample decks, but they're waiting out corrupt. Oh my goodness, the survivor's right there. Oh! Wow!
It's game time! Let's go!
Oh, right. I genuinely thought they were going to wait out the entire thing. And we see also Dragon's Wrath is infected. 2 survivors are infected, so they jumped on a gen somewhere. Slow ball, not quite getting the, might have been a ping issue? Not really sure. They seem to struggle to get to that vault location. Ooh, a little bit of reverse vaulting there, but... Ooh.
All right, going for some mind games. All right, seems to have caught them off guard.
I think they were like, wait, do I throw this pallet? But if they throw that pallet, that gen's in a dead zone at that point. There's nothing for them.
Yeah, I bet that they would have thrown out. I wonder if there was I bet the mind game is what threw them off.
That's entirely possible. And this survivor is not having any of it, running away. Ooh, I think that's Dragon's Wrath there with the blood. Yeah.
Yep. And he sees him, and he's taking him to the corrupt side of the map, which is now gone, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, it is uninterrupted. Good W gaming there from Steve.
Yeah, Hemi started thinking that he was going to go for the pallet, which he now does, but unfortunately it was read really well by Dragon's Wrath, and he just held W like he said.
Right, and that is a pallet out of the way. However, I don't think they got too much pressure from that. Dark is now unhooked. This gen's still infected, and they're going to give it a good little kick. Let's start regressing. Do you think they start cleansing? Do you think this is a cleansing group or not a cleansing group?
I don't think they cleanse until they're on Death Hook. That's my personal opinion, because right now there is no pressure. There is no pressure from sample text right now. You've only got one hook. Corrupt intervention has gone away. There's no point in taking time away from the generators in order to cleanse yourself, especially when he's using his vomit to infect the gens and the pallets.
Yeah, that's a good point. Also, I think it's worth noting. Look at the placement of his pools. One's in the really far off area, but one is a really prime spot for a pool.
I actually need him to like pan just a little bit.
It's in the middle of this 3-gen, essentially. This 3-gen.
Oh, is it?
Here, it's in the middle of this 3-gen.
Oh, that's nice. And we do see a generator go ahead and pop on the other side of the map, or in the middle. I couldn't place it.
There, yeah.
Okay.
The middle one is still looks like regressing, and they do find Dark again. You might be right. They might not go for cleansing at all, unless absolutely necessary. If he gets a hook and then drinks up, I imagine they'll have to. He's leaving his 3-gen though. This could be risky.
Yeah, it's going to be risky, but at this point, Dark is the only one that has a hook. He needs to get someone out. Even though there's 4 gens remaining, you gotta get that kill as soon as you can. And so I think going after him was okay, but he's a little bit further, and he actually catches somebody off guard.
Really, really smart. Yeah, you are not going to get Dragon's Wrath in the next millennia there, but we do get a hook on Dark here. Wait.
No, opposite. You weren't going to catch Dark because he had the vaults, but you did catch Dragon's Wrath off guard.
Right, and I think they're going to try and finish this gen. They don't care. They're going to do that gen in the killer's face. This might be dangerous. He's completely given up on his 3-gen. It seems like.
Yeah, I think so. I think he was really hoping to go ahead and get Dark here and hoping to get that down earlier.
3-gen popping. That is 4 gens done. 3 gens just like candy and fireworks just instantly.
Yep, and there's the unhook. Nancy is now infected, and so now we just gotta wait. And right now it looks like the Steve is hanging by because borrow time. I'm pretty sure of it. Baiting the hit.
Yep. Trying to give Nancy some distance there.
And
right? Is there just guys on the table? Ooh, that's a cleanse.
You know what? Maybe they felt that they needed to go ahead and do that, but he's going to come on over. He's going to pick it up, and he's going to punish them for it. So if anyone tries to come over and do a pickup of any sort, he's going to go ahead and hit him with that vomit and then punish them for cleansing.
Oh, it's a decisive strike. He's going to lose his power! Oh, no! Oh, my goodness.
Oh, no.
My heart goes out to Plague right now. That was brutal.
Yeah, that's rough. Yeah, get rid of that pallet. They'll loop that for a very long time.
And there's the final gen. Oh, man, that was a brutal play from these survivors. Well played on Dragon's Wrath. Everybody just bailed. They're like, guys, DS, it's all good.
Yeah.
The DS into the power. Yeah, that's just... I think the problem was they gave up on their 3-gen too quickly. I think they need to stick by their 3-gen more.
Yeah, I think you see a lot with some of the younger killers is that they will want to go for the person that's down so badly that even if it gets them to the opposite side of the map, they don't care. That this is the point where you do need to care. There's a 3 gen here. You don't want to lose it.
Oh man, and the survivor. I'm pretty sure that was a 4-out. Oh my word, that was brutal from the survivors.
Okay, I did not know that this was the build. It looks so.
Yeah, I couldn't say anything, but yeah, starstruck. It was a bit interesting.
Yeah, very, which makes sense why he put down Dragon's Wrath, but then when he put him down, the next person that was nearby was Dark, who was already injured, kind of making it a moot point
Right.
at that moment. So it's like, well, I'm not going to get any value off of that, so let me just go ahead and hook him. And he also ran the Natophobia, Pop, and Corrupt.
Right. Yeah, it didn't get much starstruck value. I think it's just they deviated from the initial plan of stay on my 3-gen, stay in this area. Like, they had a great fountain right in the middle of that 3-gen they could have utilized, and as soon as they gave it to the survivors chase across the map, the survivors did as they should. They descended on those gens like a swarm of feasting vultures and destroyed the generators on that side, and didn't last too long after that, unfortunately.
Yeah, but you know, if you're how did we get here right now? What are you saying to the killer, whoever that killer may be? What are you saying to them to pump them up, to get them, you know, ready to go so that they get the 4K at 5 gens because you know they can do it.
I don't know about a pep talk. I think it would just be don't deviate from the plan. Like, they had a good setup there. They had 4 gens on one side. Just they deviated from the plan. You've got to stick to your game plan in a game. I don't think anything changed. Nothing about that map or anything said that they should have chased on the other side. Just stick to your game plan. In this case, you probably need to take Spirit. You need to play like you've never played before.
Yeah, and I think it'll be very good for how did we get here if they're not already reviewing their games to go back and watch the VODs and watch how these games are going. I think watching your own gameplay is going to really give you insight as to what should have happened or what you could have done differently in order to change the tides of the match.
True. One of the ways that I've always gotten better is I reviewed pretty much, I think, every single game I've played to figure out what went wrong. That was one of the first things I got better at, was realizing that a lot of games slipped out of my grasp literally just because I deviated from the plan that I had going into the game, because I was like, okay, well, maybe if I do this, no maybes. Stick to your game plan at all costs.
Yeah, exactly.
The other ones, again, this is where it comes back to it's more nuances. Sometimes the way the game is set up is just so stacked against you that you've got an uphill battle, and recognizing that makes things a little bit easier sometimes. Like, okay, this was definitely an uphill battle. I did, what I could here, and that's the reason it didn't go in my favor. Is like, I did a lot of things right. There was just a lot of stuff against me, and the survivors executed exactly like they were supposed to.
Yes, sometimes as a killer, it's just kind of out of your control as to what happens. You can do everything right, but if you have a well coordinated survivor group, and with the RNG, depending on where your gen spawn is, it can be very difficult for a killer to get the hooks that they need.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, same can be said for the survivor side. Like, you spawn to a map and everyone can identify what's going on. It's like, okay, they've got a really nasty 5-gen. And you can, like, the thing I will say that the survivors have to their benefit is that they have communication. They can plan. It's like, okay, the game starts, killers only take 3 perks. Corrupt is like a necessity. You have 2 minutes to sort out and establish, okay, what needs to go on here while you're waiting out Corrupt most of the time. Some people don't wait out Corrupt, and that's fine, but I would prefer to wait out Corrupt if at all possible. Establish, like, okay, we've got this really nasty setup against us on these gens. We need the sprint burst and the balanced over here because they're the only ones that can get to a safety tile what the killer initiates, and set up a plan of action. Whereas the killer, you're only one person. But even then, like, soul survivors, they're just sometimes the survivors just they have a really unlucky hand handed to them sometimes. So
Yeah, sometimes they get handed pocket twos, and your killer has the straight flush, and you're just like, "Wow, that went really well for me. I
Mm-hmm.
love this game."
Yeah, that is a variable that has to go into account, and I believe if I remember correctly, we are sticking on the same killer, right? So how do we get here? Is going to be killing again for us?
They should be the killer.
Okay.
They Since sample text started, it's sample text. How do we get here? How do we get here? Sample text.
Okay.
You are correct. We are gonna have to reset the lobby though.
Okay, that's what I thought. I got kicked out. I was like, okay, yep, makes sense. Do we have a score by chance after that, or is that still being tallied? Might still be trying to figure out lobby back
This
stuff.
I went to message them about the lobby. So the total score right now is Sample Text got a perfect score out with all 5 gens and all 4 survivors. So they have 93 points. And how did we get here is 17 points.
All right, you said it. Third quarter comeback. Oh man, that is going to be like we saw it. Like OOD did everything they could, and just sample text knew what they had to do in the fourth one. But I, this is going to be difficult.
So at this point, do you say we don't think that we're going to get the dub, and we're just going to go and try something, experiment with something, and see how it goes? Or do you say, I think we can still pull it off, but we need to bring an S tier killer,
I
and
think
we
you've got to
gotta
try it.
pull out the dub?
I think you've got to try it. You've got to try and give your Survivor Squad a chance here in the final round. I now is the if you can play Nurse, you have to bring Nurse here and try and mitigate any and all gens from being completed and just absolutely trounce the survivors. Honestly, if you could get away with it, try a 4-man slug if you had to. Like
Yeah.
just completely decimate and keep them from off the gens if at all possible. Just even if it's a slow, grindy match that you're just, that you see the person get picked up, you slug the person, you just continue back and forth slug until they're all like, you get 2 people down, then you go for a third person, get the hook, and
Hmm.
I think that's all you can do. Like even if there's a bunch of progressions there, if you guarantee a 4K at 4 to 5 gens still to be done, even with the progressions, like it's still going to be a massive win for your team, and your survivors have a shot.
Yeah.
But even then, like sample text is going to know, like just like last time. All right, guys, we only need 1K. Who's a Bubba? Like seriously, that's all you need to do. Honestly, you could even take Trickster in if you're wanting to say Bubba for something else. Trickster is just as good as securing a 1K.
Oh, okay. Look, we can't all get 4Ks with Trickster like you. Okay, let's
4Ks in MMR? You're kidding me. Nah, fam. If I get a 4K as a Trickster, I'm horrified because I know for the next 10 games I'm gonna get 5 outed every single game.
5 out of.
Dude,
Yeah.
I swear it's like MMR is like, oh my goodness, a killer at high MMR that's not Spirit, Nurse, or Blight. Throw them against the hardest survivors so they have a break. It's like, no, don't do that. Don't throw me to the wolves. Dadgum.
No, the devs just want to throw you in 20 feet deep and then go, oh, you've lost the ability to swim. Have fun.
Right? Perk lost or something. I don't know. Good grief.
Yeah.
No. Add-on gained. Brick. Jeez, please no, not like this.
No, not today. Not today. No, but I think it's simple. You gotta bring in Nurse.
Yeah. Nurse is probably the best suited for this map. You get around literally the most annoying part of this map is the 2 massive walls and it can help around it. So
I can see in an instance because I know that they've played Oni before. They could possibly bring Oni, and if they get lucky and they get some early hits, that could steamroll into a couple of one-shot downs if they're able to flick correctly. I could see that as well, but I want the Nurse.
same. I want Nurse too. I think you have to.
Sorry to interrupt. We're just navigating some lobby issues, so we're trying to reset everyone's game at this point, and we'll get back into lobby.
NAT issues with friends or not friends, or is it just console stuff? Just console
I
things?
think it's just console being console, DVD being DVD. So
Nothing to worry about, guys. Just console things.
I don't know about you guys, but I think we've done a pretty good job here.
Oh my word, killing me. Well, they want for Christmas is a pack without bugs. Okay,
yeah, no. That just ruined the mood for everybody. we were just here vibing, having a good time, talking about nerds, and then you come in with facts, and we don't want that.
Facts don't care about your. I'm sorry. This is going way far. I'm gonna get a message from Gil's like, hey, could you like not ever host Champs of the Fog again? You're like an actual like canker sore on society. Oh man.
Okay, so perhaps we take it back. And let's talk about it from sample text point of view. Knowing that you have a sizable lead, what do you think that? Do you think that they're going to take it a little bit easier? Do you think that they're just focusing on getting a certain amount of gens or a certain amount of outs? Because right now, the lead we're looking at is 76.
I think that's correct. Yeah, it is a staunch lead.
So 76, which means that at maximum for these two games, the killer could get a total of 98 points. 50 points for the survivors and 48 points for the killer, meaning that there is a 22-point difference that they need.
Right.
They need 23 points to win.
Between the
For
next two
us,
games?
between the next two games.
That's very doable. You get 3 gens done, you get a 1K. I think that's doable.
It's doable in this game. 5 gens and 1 out is 23 points.
Yeah. Sample text knows what they have to do here, and it's up to how do we get here to deny them. I do not want to be in their shoes right now. It's not out. Like, they can pull it off. Like, it is entirely in the realm possibility to pull it off, but I have yet to see a comeback from the third quarter so far. It would be the underdog story of the century if they could pull this off.
Yeah. I've scrimmed against them before, and there definitely is some promise. There's definitely promise. They're getting so much better with their gameplay. It is possible for them to do it. But you need the full 12 hook game today.
True.
This game right now.
True. You definitely need you need some strong play. We'll have to see if they can pull it off. This is, I don't know, that like this is gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be tough, but you know what? We'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Are you excited about the upcoming patches that we might be seeing at the next killer, maybe survivor?
Oh, new chapter of PTB coming out?
Yeah.
I have seen some of the leaks. I don't know really what to think yet.
Mm-hmm.
Aesthetically, I think it's pretty solid. Power wise, we can only speculate. It's supposed to be artists. There's ravens, so maybe they'll have like the Dracula vampire style where they can like teleport in a cloud of ravens. Or I honestly, the more teleport abilities in the game, the better, because it gives you some semblance of map pressure.
Yeah, it's
no real idea otherwise. I wouldn't mind a Scourge Hook perk coming from them. After that, I don't know. Honestly, what I would want as far as killer perks from the new patch, another Scourge Hook, because dear goodness, I love Scourge Hooks. And 2, some gen regression perk that rewards the killer in chase. Similar to Eruption, where kicking gens can, break them down over time when you get downs. If that makes sense. And here's the thing. I love Eruption as a concept. I think it's really cool. But the problem is like, when it comes down to it, chases. Okay, let me put it this way. From my perspective, chases tend to last pretty long on average because survivors aren't bad. And you've got to stop and kick a gen that can be done in around 45 seconds when 2 people are on it without proof thyself.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to win a chase in 45 seconds to regress it by 6%.
And then also cause the incapacitated status effect for 16 seconds.
If they're on the gen, if they're on the
gen.
Yeah,
if they're on the gen. But
now, it's nice that you can, like this is where I think that all the shortcomings of these kick a gen perks could be overcome if they buffed oppression to apply those status effects when you kick one gen to all the other gens that are affected by oppression. They won't, because they are scared senseless of making strong gen progression perks.
Mm-hmm.
But I would really like to see it. I think it's so close. Or buffing, kicking in general, like make it where survivors can't, tap a gen for a split second to make it stop, something like that. But yeah, at the end of the day, a cool gen regression perk that rewards the killer for doing good in chase, and a Scourge Hook. If they do either of those things, I'll be pretty happy with the next DLC.
Okay, so here's my thing.
Okay.
I personally would like to see a change when it comes to the entity grabbing the gens. For example, Thrilling Tremors.
Oh, gens regress while it's being grabbed.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
wholeheartedly.
I think that would be really nice. And for some reason, my brain thought this is how it's always worked, and so that's why I thought Thrilling Tremors with Ruin was fantastic. And then I was told that no, it doesn't work like that. Nope. The fuck you talking about?
For real though, make Cruel Limits good again. Wait, no, not Cruel Limits. Is it Cruel Limits?
Cruel Limits? No, that's the used to be demo perk.
Right.
Is that the one you're talking about?
Okay, what's the Dead Man Switch? There we go. Make Dead Man Switch good again.
Yes, but I believe we have something from our referee.
You do. We are good to go after all of our reset issues. We are good on both sides.
Okay, sweet action. Yeah, I didn't even get a chance to switch into Killer before they were jumping into it, so I'm glad they figured it out. All right, there we go. Sweet. We got. I didn't honestly. I didn't even get the chance to see who was Killer, so I'm actually gonna browse just a little bit when we jump into this game, because I don't actually know. I saw Flawless was in here. I don't think Flawless played for Sample Text the previous game. I think they are first time into today's match. So
okay,
small roster on that end. I don't know who's killing for How Did We Get Here, but I'm very interested to see.
I have no idea.
Okay, so just before we get back to it, yes, 100%. If the entity grabs a gen, please let it keep regressing or make it regress as the base effect. That'd be so nice.
I think that would solve a lot of issues of, gens taking a little bit longer, because you're having so many perks that are blocking gens. Mm-hmm. Deadlock, Corrupt, Thrilling. All of those in combination with Ruin could be really, really good. But
here's the thing. I don't actually think Ruin is good anymore. Like, in pubs anyway. In comp, it's still good, because essentially for like, if you can get like 2-3 minutes of use of Ruin, it does its job. But in pubs, Ruin just doesn't cut it anymore. Between like we already had good anti totem perks, but now we've got boons, and survivors bring boons like they're friggin' candy.
So actually, that's one of the things I'm hoping that we see with the next chapter release.
We have a Myers.
Okay, so they are taking it on the spectrum that they're not going to be able to come back, and they're playing a killer that doesn't see any time or any love in comp at all. Yep. The Mikey boy.
Poor Mikey. I'm sorry, what were you saying? I apologize. I just had to get here to the point where, like, it's a Mikey. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Let's go.
One of the things I wanted to have a change with the chapter release is the effectiveness of the boons. I think now they've had plenty of time to look at the data and look at the boon and how strong they are, and maybe we will see a change with the boons.
Possibly. At the very least, limiting the number of times they are done. I also think, like, I think Scott had a pretty decent analysis on it. They do the Survivor game, they do. That uncapped healing speed is just kind of insane.
Yeah.
I think it's
For me, I've always thought that it was insane that how the boon totem can have a faster healing speed than self-care.
Yeah, right?
Like, that was one of the things I've been adamant about, is that it should be the same speed. It should be the same speed as self-care. Especially when you're going to do it for everybody.
True. Oh, I thought he was going to stock up to tier 3 here and get them, but instead they're going to go right for it. All right. Taking it on the chin.
And we do see a yellow generator. Could that indicate maybe a discordance?
Quite possibly. Ooh, and he gets the down before the well played. They actually got the and first gen just popped, so Mikey not doing too bad.
You know what, Mike? Not bad at all. But you know that there was at least two people here.
They missed the balance on.
Yep. You know, I actually thought that Hammy was going to patrol a little bit more, knowing that that discordance went off. There were two people here, but the Palace Stone was just a little bit off in its timing, and they were not able to get the save on the head commissioner of Champions of the Fog, Guildspire.
That was Dark, actually.
No, they weren't able to get the save.
Oh, okay, my bad. Okay, I didn't get that. My bad.
No, it's all good.
Dark is the one we are shaming right now.
After this game, Gil's gonna go to Dark and go, look, we're gonna have to have a talk.
Right? Oh goodness! It's like, why can't you be more like flawless and be like? Okay. Oh goodness!
And look at, you know what? And it's actually good that he came back here to the Discordance, because if he's looking to tier up, you know that there's two people here.
True.
You may be able to stock up quicker in order to get to tier 3.
They are on the cusp of tier 3 here. Ooh, a
They-
little bit of mind game from Meg here. Hopefully.
Yeah, and I think if I'm Hammy, I don't take the swing though, especially since you're trying to get to tier 3. Don't take the swing. Just go and try and get a little bit more juice.
Yeah.
And he's gonna go check on the gen, and he runs into Guildspire again. Now that pallet is gone, and now he's in tier 3.
Oh,
That's tier 3.
Yeah.
And there we go. That's nice.
Well played. Well played.
All right, so he's going to go ahead and put him on the hook. The question is, where does he hook him? And it looks like he did a 360 and is going to hook him right here where the pallet was broken. He's going to have good positioning. And he's going to go over to the gen where he knows that everyone has been trying to work on.
Ooh, Meg might be caught out here. Is there a pallet here? There's not a pallet.
No pallet.
In danger.
Oh.
A whiff.
Oh, but that's okay, though. That's okay. No, the jukes are coming in from the Meg.
I think this is the downside of console. You
There
can
we
use the
go.
Console pretty hardcore sometimes.
Yeah, well, I may need to get a little bit more practice in that. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, that was pretty rough to see. That was you might say flawless. Oh, they did the gen. Let's say if you'd hooked Guildspire by that gen, kicked the gen, regressed it. Oh, then we'd see a score. It's probably just honestly good stuff from Mikey that I've seen so far today. More than I was expecting to get done here.
Exactly. And you know what? And with the Discordance popping off, he knew exactly where he needed to go.
Repressed Alliance! From
Right! Dude, if I'm Hammy, I'm like, this Nancy's got to die. They just took away my gen. But no, he does the smart thing. He knows Nancy is going to shock, where I'm pretty sure they got a pallet. They have a very strong looping potential. He's going to... Yeah. It's a smart decision. Go for Guildspire and try and get that kill.
Is that a 99 sprint break? No, okay.
Oh, look at this! 3 people here. Look at the stock potential.
True. Did you actually get a stock multi multiplier for multiple people? I thought they took that away.
I have no idea.
Ooh,
However,
Meg there.
yeah, that was very, very well done.
Careful, you can't take hits for him. You're gonna get murdered.
Body blocking a Myers in tier 3. Imagine. Oh no! The I believe that was a bamboozle blocking the window, forcing everybody to go out, and we do see the final generator going off.
Indeed, and an adrenaline from Guiltspire, so he is healthy. However, we have a tier 3 Mikey. They're gonna have to. Okay. So looking up the sky, wondering why, I guess.
You know what? A beautiful night, a dreary night here on Gas Haven, and being stuck on a rock. You know, we love to see that.
Indeed, and yeah, they got an X-Gate already ready to go. I don't know if the Survivor can wait out the infinite tier, or not the infinite tier, the tier. Sorry, I'm just used to Michael being infinite. Just
you know, my typical Myers things. No, I wonder if you're sample text, are you going to wait for the tier 3 to go away, and then go for the save, because you know that this game is essentially locked up. You're gonna get the 1 out for sure, because right now they're sitting at 20 points. They just need 3 more, and they lock in the win.
I would like to point out, I think I'm correct here. Flawless has camaraderie. Look at the bar.
I actually cannot see the bar from I can't see it. Is it red by any chance?
No, but it seems like it paused there for just the briefest of moments. And Mikey, oh, we get a tier 3 up. Oh no, she almost paid for that. Good job on Michaela trying to get Mikey's attention and blind him so that they can get the save here. Uh-oh, Nancy could go down here.
Yeah, I think it's possible it's gonna swing. Yep, I knew that was going to be a swing.
They were
but
using the swings here. Oh,
they are. I think he does.
Barely.
Yep. Yeah, I figured that's what would happen. But they did get the unhook, and they're going to leave them slugged. And yes, go for them. Go for them. Go for them. Get them down.
Ooh,
yeah.
Slugs. Okay, Mikey coming back. Let's go.
Get them down. Sorry, I'm really excited about
with
this.
5 gens being done, is that the points that these survivors need to continue? Ooh, bamboozle on the window. She's gonna have to drop this pallet, and it's gonna be on the other side. She's gonna be able to get the pickup there.
Yep,
brutal.
But he's gonna get another down.
There's a pallet.
Oh, but they have a pallet here. That pallet's safe.
Yeah.
It's safe enough to delay the tier 3 hit. Ooh, and the Meg crawled over to the exit gate.
Is there a DS? There's a DS!
Oh my god!
Oh, Mikey, no, not like this!
No, and we see the out, which is a guarantee that Sample Text is going to pick up the dub, which means that next week is going to be an amazing week for Dead by Daylight. Oh the 4 out.
Mikey had some ground there. I was surprised at how well Mikey was holding up. I think just the repeated whiffs might have cost him in the end, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, when we go back and look at it, the spins that he was getting on the backside of main, those whiffs did cost some precious time.
15 seconds, and they finished the gen because of it.
Yeah. You know, if you exercise a little bit of patience on that first swing, you may have been able to shave 10 seconds to go and put pressure on someone else.
Mm-hmm. That was rough there, unfortunate, but well played to Sample Text. And I believe you are correct. That is the win there. But are we going to be playing a 4th game tonight?
I believe we are.
All right. What's the score?
The current score is Sample Text 143, and how did we get here? 33.
All right. So that is a 110-point lead?
You know, I'm not a math major, but I think so.
I think you're right. Yes, I believe so.
Shelby is a math major, so.
Psych major, actually, like the doctorate's in psych, not it.
You dealt with numbers, you know.
At some point, maybe, I don't know. It's fine.
All
Yeah.
right, wait, you said you're a psych major?
Yes, I
All right,
am.
well, you can prove to me you're a math major. How many issues do I have in my brain?
We don't. I don't think we have enough time in this particular video for that.
True. The easier question is, what don't I have? No, anyway, man. So I believe we're just waiting on sample text to give us a killer invite now, and we can get a the exhibition match on the way. I do believe Guildspire might be treating us to something here.
Kill that. That name sounds so familiar. Does that name ring a bell to you?
Okay, that bit only works the beginning.
I've just been going through the motions. I'm like, Guildspire. That name sounds so familiar. I don't know.
There we go. Oh my goodness. Oh, actually, I think we might have Flawless killing for us.
Yeah, so might as well. I do not know if Flawless is a killer main or not.
I mean, I guess better. I don't know. I guess first time for everything. I don't know. I have to agree. I don't think I've ever seen Flawless play killer.
They may be playing just for the fun of it because they know that they've already locked up the match, and they can go and have fun.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe we'll see. Okay, so I guess if it's exhibition on the line, what is a killer that everyone loves but we never see because they're just completely not viable? Flawless, I swear if you pick Trickster, I am coming to find you.
I was gonna say not Trickster but Ghostface.
Ooh, you know what? I'm down for that. Dude, I had so much fun. I literally had, I think, the single best Ghostface game last night of my life, and it was so good. The small tweaks they did to Ghostface, I think, are paying off for him.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the small buffs that he got was just enough. Just enough. I really liked it.
Yeah, he actually feels reasonable to take, like Trapper is like you felt like you were obligated to take a bag. You don't have to take Chewed Pen Olsen's address book to play him anymore. You can actually take off one of those and only take one of them. He's still kind of like Trapper. You still need the the cooldown reduction for his power, but you can afford to take another add-on, so which is nice.
Yeah. And so I'm looking right now at the schedule for next week. The very first match of the day is between Monarchy and Sample Text. We will know after that first match who will take the fourth spot.
Oh, okay.
And I think it is safe to say that with this win, Cerebral Assassins will most likely not make it since they have a 4-4, and the fourth seed is a tie with a 5-3 record.
Okay. Okay.
I think
it's gonna be exciting.
It's going to be exciting, and that's what we're starting off with for the day.
Oh my goodness! They don't even get the primetime spotlight. They just they're the opening act.
The opening act is gonna be the most exciting. There's a lot that the two teams are gonna be fighting for. Balls to the wall. That it's gonna be a great match. And right now it's gonna be on Rancid, Abattoir, and Torment Creek.
Ooh, okay. So double corn map. So Killer's got to bring their A game.
Yeah. That's going to be very exciting. Now, hopefully, they don't choose a killer today that would prevent them from bringing out the good stuff for next week.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be playing on Corn both times, you probably want, Nurse is probably not going to cut it. You probably need Spirit, or at very least Blight.
I think Blight can be pretty decent. There's a lot of collision. A lot of collision there can easily traverse the map to put on lots of pressure, especially since we see a lot of blights with corrupt and ruin, and they can get tons of ruin value.
Mm-hmm. True. The hiding spots are pretty nasty on that map sometimes. Not as nasty as some other ones, but yeah, for all the OG style maps, yeah, that one's really good.
And I think it's the type of week where you can really take advantage of the RNG totem spawns.
True. True, I would have to agree, and we do have a lobby, by the way. I think they're just figuring out. And again, it's crazy. We're seeing flawless. Nope. Look back over here. We missed the wing. Oh well. It is flawless on Killer, and we got our same Survivor Squad. Geeky Giraffe, Hammy Star, Omega Lol, and Lesbian Love is going to be our Survivor Squad. Returning to the stage.
I am expecting a flawless Killer round.
Yes.
I'll see myself out.
No, you're good. You're good. I'll allow it. Nope. Dang it, I missed it again. I'm so bad. You're distracting me with your flawless logic. Okay. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you later. Oh, man. We'll be here all day.
Gil's going to watch this and go, you two, never again.
Yeah, it's like, sorry. Y'all gotta go. Bye-bye. I can do better without you. I'd rather have this broadcast without verbiage.
Just have the referees just start the stream and then just go from scene to scene, no commentary, and just be like, "We'll be right back, guys. Here's the score." All right, back.
Yeah, there you go. Just directing the stream and just silence the entire time. Even better, you just see subtitles at the bottom of the screen. You see subtitles, you hear Alexa talking over everything.
Oh man, that would be great.
That'd be something. I would feel no, it's probably accurate enough. It's fine. I think we're almost ready up here. I see the survivors ready up, killers ready up. We just need to have confirmation, and we shall go underway. I would love to see a Ghostface. I agree.
Yeah, Ghostface would be fun. We maybe they retort with a Mikey Boy on their own.
Possibly. Referee, do we have something?
We are good to go. I was waiting on one little change, so we are good on both sides.
All right, sweet action. Let's get this game underway. I would love to see something off. What would it be? Off meta, off balance, off kilt. I don't know. So I would love to see something that's not on the menu.
Well, what we do know is that it cannot be Plague, it cannot be Deathslinger, and it cannot be Nemesis.
True. That is fair. Just leaves 22 other killers to choose from.
Oh dear God. Technically,
you don't see Clown very often. I can see a Clown.
You know what? Clown has not gotten a lot of love since. So for those that were here for season 0, you will know that the original rule was that you could only use each killer once in the season. So you saw a lot more variety in your killers.
Yeah, you had to.
But since we have had some amazing teams come in to Champions of the Fog, there was a rule change where now you can use each killer twice. So you're obviously going to use your higher tier killers because you don't need your Ghostface or your Clown. You don't need your Hillbilly because you're going to have more options for your higher tier killers.
Yeah, you've got at least at the higher B tiers, you at least have like 10 killers to immediately choose from that are high B tier or higher that can at least guarantee a 2K if played optimally. So,
yeah.
If you only that's not even 20 matches you need. So yeah, all your C and D tier killers definitely got kicked to the curb pretty hard.
They did, and so I wonder if we're going to see something different for next season, or if we're going to keep it the same. So we'll find out when the new rule set comes out, and hopefully we'll get some answers.
Indeed, and we're in with a Wraith.
A Wraith, okay.
Like honestly, a Wraith is such a decent killer. I would expect them to save this killer for another team.
So if we think about it, if they're going to bring in Blight, Nurse, Spirit, those 3 for next week, you can go ahead and use your Wraith. And after this, Wraith they won't have Wraith for next week. So they're going in next week with S tier. Got to bring in the goods.
That is crazy to me because honestly, Wraith is not a bad killer after the updates. He's actually got a lot of decent potential, I feel like.
That's very true. One of the things that we are seeing is the the yellow progress bar when he is uncloaking, perhaps suggesting that he's got an add-on for for faster unhook, the Swift Hunt.
Yeah, so we have the Swift Hunt and the Windstorm purple add-ons, which honestly is kind of crazy because with the buff that he got, I don't see a lot of Windstorm anymore, but this killer wants to go fast, and a generator completing, so being fast is not quite cutting it, just it seems.
No, not right now, but, you know, right now it's a 1-for-1, and while that's okay, that was very good mind game. You know, Geeky was... No, not committing, just getting that down and, you know, patrolling this area. We do see some extra sparks popping off, suggesting a pop goes the Weasel.
Which
and
no
he...
ruin.
I wonder if the...
Did they just get... Did they just crash?
I do not know. We may have to get some answers to that at another time. That was just more shocking to me because I didn't expect that. I expected Geeky to keep going, but
yeah,
maybe their controller died.
Ooh, the firecracker of doom.
Dude, that's so crazy. That's it.
Like
that's it. How did we get here? Wins. How did we get here? Just one. It doesn't matter what the score is. They just won. They blinded a Wraith.
They did. Like, it's crazy that firecrackers get their most value. Ooh, good hit on Hammy there. Get their most value from, like, a cloaked Wraith.
Yeah.
Like, it is a guaranteed blind, I think, if you drop it on them, because the amount of time it takes for a Wraith to get away from the blast of it, they can't leave it fast enough.
No, they can't. And depending on the placement of it and the timing, it is possible to light burn the nurse. It is much harder, but it is without a doubt easier to do it on a cloaked Wraithy boy.
True. Ooh, and they were not able to get them healed in time, and so Geeky is going to go down there.
Yeah, and unfortunately they weren't able to take the protection hit, which is probably what I would have tried to do. If the Wraith's there, they're going to get that speed boost for 1 second. You know, try and take the body block to give Geeky some time, because I believe they're going to be on Death Hook, if I'm not mistaken.
Geeky is second hook, I think.
Geeky is second hook.
Oh, with a DS to boot.
All right, heck yeah, dude. Let's go. Let's go.
They had a DS after all that time. Well played.
It was like good stuff. GG, well played. And Geeky.
Good mind game there.
That was great on Geeky's part. Faking the vault so that the Wraith would want to go around, but then just held W and went straight for the pallet. That was really good mind game.
See, I thought. Okay, so here's the thing. This just shows how killer-minded I am. I thought it was a good mind game from Flawless because he acted like he was going to go towards the window and then immediately doubled back. I thought it was a mind game on the Wraith part, personally.
No, I can see. I think they were both reacting to each other.
And it totally goes down. And like Geeky did play correctly. They had dropped the pallet, but I think the killer wanted them to.
Yeah.
Oh! Last mine! Oh, that's brutal!
How did we get here? Just one. I don't care what anybody says.
How did we get here is bringing in the bully squad.
They win in my book. They win and they get all of my love. They got it.
That is an instant down. And I can tell you now, we have haunted ground in play.
Oh,
but in addition, because the survivors also knows I'm not giving anything away, you don't hear it, but every single time there's an unhook, we hear a ping of a token being added to the game.
Oh.
Now tell me, what perk do you get tokens from when there's an unhook?
That you get tokens from when there's an unhook. I think that would be a Devour Hope, possibly.
You are correct. Oh no! The locker! The locker! What happened?
Oh no! We got a bug!
She broke the locker.
Geeky's just too good at this game. Geeky is so good at this game, she literally caused the locker bug.
there's no pallet in the shack to throw, so now you gotta throw lockers.
Now this is a true horror game where you're literally throwing everything in the environment to force the killer to go over.
Indeed. And unfortunately, I can also say now, they actually cleansed the Devour Hope right as he got 5 stacks.
Oh no.
So sad. Anyway,
Oh, yeah, because I never heard that little audio
Right.
since I'm without sound today. So when you tell me there's that, and I'm like, oh,
yeah, hopefully next time when I'm hosting, I'll have the setup where I can make sure you can hear the game properly. Ooh. Well, at least he ran to the right locker.
yeah, that would have been very unfortunate had Kiki. I wonder what it's like on the Survivor side if
They
they can
probably
see
don't
it.
have the same issue. It's a spectator bug, I believe.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think it's really just a spectator bug.
So like on the, if you're watching these games back to see what you can do better, what do you do about that? You just go, well, I guess I gotta locker better. I don't know.
It's like, well, I guess we did a pretty good job. Oh, another blast mine. Let's go. Blast mine gamers. And they finished the jet in their face! Oh, the bully!
Dude, imagine if that person also had repressed alliance. If they weren't able to finish it, they would just block it off so that it would prevent them from getting the pop.
Yeah, that is. I mean, that's like the ultimate use, right? Like, yeah, it's like a little bit of a BM for the killer, but really, what they did was the full use of the power. Uh-oh. They used their dead heart a little bit preemptively, and now it's gonna cost them.
Yeah.
Oh,
And now they're.
asserting dominance.
You know what? Sometimes you just gotta dance when you're on the floor. Just dance. Yep, you know. So, you know, they did get 4 gens done, which is pretty good. And Flawless is having a really good game as far as, you know, being bullied as a Wraith is concerned.
True.
He's seeing scratch marks and he's trying to pursue, but I think there it is.
There's the Meg.
Because we did see those scratch marks stop, so that would have told me that they're still here, but they chose to walk instead. And they're going to go for the trade.
Yep. And will they? Yeah, I think they're just gonna. I think they smell blood in the water. They're like the Meg. They want it. They want this 4K. Want to be down and out. I think this is Flawless' first time playing killer, so you know, I can understand wanting the pride in saying, "Hey, my first comp game was a 4K."
I wish I could say that. You know, there's a certain amount. Oh, and we see another dead hard there. And do they? I think they still have the pallet. They do have the pallet.
They do.
They throw it and then just decide to go away because they
It's a
know
very
that.
unsafe pallet.
Yeah. And
There you go. Lesbian love is down. We already know who had the decisive strike, and it is GG's.
it is as Guildspire would say, GG, well played to the survivors and the Wraith. I'm for sure getting tired after that. That's when you know I watch Guildspire a lot, is just, you know, when I'm emulating his own catchphrase.
Guildspire is in the chat, so can we get a rating on a scale of 1 to please don't do that again? Oh man. Seeing some nodders from our killer here. Can you? Oh my gosh, I am getting nods. Please, I don't want this. No. Thank you. Endgame sweet relief. Well played to sample text. GG's. How did we get here? And yeah, well played on both sides. Unfortunately, sample text just proving that they are a very dominant team. And how did we get here? Still has a little ways to go. How did we get here? Doesn't matter. Where do we go from here is what counts.
But you know what? They all decided to meme around because you know we're seeing some perks that you won't see in comp if you're really close and down to the wire. People bringing in Guardian, Head On, Blast Mine, Flashbang. You know, these survivors knew that this game was just for fun at that point.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. I'm really surprised they brought Wraith, but yeah, like when you put it that way, like they didn't technically have a huge reason to keep Wraith for next week, even though like I still think Wraith is probably one of the better killers
Mm-hmm.
in a comp roster, because their buff just makes them super viable. But yeah, no reason to really, I guess, save it. If they've got access to all S tier, you'd probably bring up Pyramid Head or Huntress or something along those lines. So yeah, it makes sense in the end, I suppose. So
You know, Sample Text knows what they're doing.
yeah.
They knew that they were okay with losing the Wraith.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. So with that, I believe that is that the last game for today. I don't believe there's a 6 o'clock game, is there?
There is no 6 o'clock game today.
Right. So we got 2 games tomorrow.
No games tomorrow.
Really, no games tomorrow. So that is the last for the week, and on to next week then.
Yeah. So next week, next Saturday, make sure that you guys are here, because at 12 p.m. Central Time, it is the final week, and it is the most pivotal game: Sample Text versus Monarchy. The winner, we can most likely say, is going to take the 4th slot for the finals that will occur on the 20th. You want to be here for that match.
True. That's going to be a super cool match. I am down for it, and I do believe we have our final score.
We do. It is 189 for Sample Text and 47 for How Did We Get Here.
Oof. Dominant showing from Sample Text.
But you know what, they had How Did We Get Here had some really good things going on for them. They had some really good loops. They're getting much better, and so I expect that when we see them again, they're gonna come out and be a much better squad.
I don't know.
And
I think the game was pretty fed up with them. That locker was not having it.
that locker was even like, I'm throwing in the towel.
Yeah, there you go. Oh man. Anyway, it was a blast. This was a very fun game to watch. Thank you everybody for coming out and supporting Champions of the Fog. We'll be back next week, as Travesty said. I have been your host, littlerugaard. This has been our co-host, Travesty on Demand, and we are signing off for this weekend. See you all next week. Thank you for watching. Have a great evening, everybody.